This question is find indices with index and value difference 1. So the description is pretty straightforward. We want to make sure the index between, the two index between is greater or equal than the index difference, and also the value between the difference is greater than the value difference. So the idea is going to be this. So index has to be 2, right? So we're going to compare with this. So I and j, this is going to be your starting position, and we compare. 5 minus 4 is 1. Is it greater than 4? No. So j can shift to here. 5 minus 1 is greater than the index. Yes. The index is 0 and 3, right? So 0 and 3 is 3 minus 0 is definitely greater than 2, right? And also 5 minus 1 is the value difference is greater or equal than 4, which is true, right? So that's why you want to return the 2 index for this one. So this will be the idea. So if you cannot find any, then you want to return -1. So this will be it. Alright. So I'm going to explain while I'm coding because it's actually pretty easy to do this instead. So I'm going to create a 2 for loop. So I'm going to start from 0 and all the way to the end. And for in j equal to, so j always start from what index difference, right? However, we need to keep count of what? I, right? So it has to be I plus value difference, the indifference, sorry. And then j will all the way to the end. So imagine that j is always the minimum difference is I plus index difference. Then you shouldn't have, you shouldn't have, this boundary, right? Because you always need to give a space for j, so it's going to be I plus index difference less than num star length. So this will be the range between I and j. So now you can just plug in the formula. So mass the absolute has to be num set I minus num set j. If this is greater than the value difference, then you can return whatever the index you have, and others why you will return -1, -1. So I already know absolute I minus j is already greater than or equal to the index difference value, right? Because I is always less than j. Okay, so math absolute, okay, and then this would be it. Alright, so this is a 2 for loop solution. Time is going to be n squared, space is all of 1. However, you can optimize this. What you need to do is you start from here, index 2, which is going to be index difference, and then you keep on track whether or not what is your current minimum index and maximum index. So once you know the minimum index and maximum index, you can actually subtract with your current value. So for example, I subtract the current value, and then if I do get this constraint, the value difference, then I will return. Also I won't return. So let's see. So min index is going to be equal to 0. Max index is going to be equal to 0 by default. And then I'm going to say I equal to index difference, and then I less than num star length, and I plus plus. Okay, so if the num set I minus index difference, so if this is less than whatever the current value you have, you want to make sure the index difference, right? So I minus index difference, you want to update the min index, right? But it's not actually nums I, it's actually nums min index. So if this I minus index difference, so it's gonna be, you know, index difference minus index difference is gonna be 0, all right, for the first time, and number mean index is actually 0. So in this case, if this is a less than, then you want to update a mean index equal to this one. So the idea behind this is the mean index, if the value current you have is greater than whatever the value that you are trying to compare. I mean, if something is smaller, then you want to reset, and this will happen to the max index as well. So I minus index difference, if this is greater than numset max index, and then want to update the max index to I minus index difference. So these two ideas is you want to find out the mean index and max index. So that's pretty much it. Because once you know the max index and mean index, you can actually do the subtraction without absolute. So, you know, max index minus the current nums at I is greater than value difference, then you can return, or the other way, nums at I minus mean index, then you can return. So let's do this. So nums at I minus nums at mean index, if this is greater or equal than the value difference, then you can return new int. So it can be mean index, I. So this is already largest minus smallest. You don't need to absolute. And then the other way is that nums at max index minus nums at I is greater or equal than the value difference. Then you can return the new int max index at I. So max and mean index is always ahead of I, right? It's always they are always, you know, show it right over here, because this is how you reset, right? And then you can return the default one, -1, -1, -1. So this will be pretty much it. So yeah, time for this one is going to be all of them. Space is constant. Idea is you want to keep track of the mean index and also max index to fulfill this constraint. And then later on you will do this comparison for this constraint. So this will be pretty much it. And it's kind of hard to understand this, but anyway, see you.